my name is Indriana Rusmaji, and right now I'm going to explain briefly about whether or not Fairtrade organizations are able to make a room for smallholder productions cooperative, specifically talking in Tanzania tea production. In Tanzania, tea was first grown commercially by plantations in 1926. Smallholder tea production was first promoted in 1960s by the Tanzanian Tea Authority, or what we call as TTA. However, low prices, late payments, and mismanagement of factories left the smallholder industry extremely weakened when the sector became privatized during the 1990s. Currently, smallholders are producing about half of the amount of tea per hectare that its states to produce. The Director General of TTA claimed that the lower levels of smallholder tea production can be attributed to the lack of empowerment. Specifically, he claims that if all of tea farmers in Tanzania own their own industry, he's very sure that they will be highly motivated in producing it. One of the sustainability indicators of the Fairtrade certification is the notion of farmer empowerment, right? Which includes the decision-making power and organizational strengthening. Indeed, other scholars have noted that the power behind the idea of fair trade is found in the model that it provides for reorganizing their market relations. The objective of our video is therefore to examine the different ways that smallholders are brought into fair trade certification schemes in the Tanzanian tea industry, as a way to better articulate the notion of empowerment that is claimed by the fair trade system. We are going to explore the challenges, the opportunities, and perceived benefits provided by each of the different ownership relations and the possibilities of sustainability. Specifically, we are going to discuss number 1, are there any linkages between ownership models and fair trade certification? And number 2, are there trends in governance that facilitate sustainable relationships? So if you want to know these answers, please check the next video.
Nilai-nilai mengenai kerjasama antar aktor dalam bidang agrikultur seringkali diabaikan. Beberapa individu justru lebih mengutamakan hubungan langsung dengan para petani saja. Namun, sebenarnya dalam agrikultur terdapat banyak konsep yang juga berkaitan untuk mengatur kegiatan yang sedang dilaksanakan. Seringkali konsep ini berfokus pada metode spesifik dan strategi yang dipekerjakan oleh manajemen atau individu yang menangani suatu perusahaan. Konsep untuk mengatur diversity yang ada di agrikultur tercipta melalui inovasi terhadap ownership dan dalam agribisnis seperti usaha skala besar yang dipegang perusahaan ataupun usaha berskala kecil hingga menengah yang dipegang oleh keluarga menengah ke atas. Perbedaan ini tercipta akibat semakin besar dan beragamnya permintaan konsumen. Dalam persaingan ekonomi yang dipengaruhi oleh konsumen seperti di bagian Eropa Utara, bentuk kompetisi yang dilakukan ialah berupa customer relationships, intellectual property, and management arrangements. Gerakan Fairtrade muncul untuk mengubah hubungan dagang yang terjadi antar aktor tersebut dengan mengedepankan prinsip mutual benefits dan kerjasama antar aktor. Gerakan Fairtrade dan juga perbedaan ownership serta semakin banyaknya aktor yang ada di dunia mendorong terbentuknya Global Value Chains atau GVC. GVC ini adalah bentuk skema hubungan kerjasama antar aktor dalam perdagangan tadi yang terbagi menjadi 5 berdasarkan jenis hubungannya. Hubungan kompleks antara gerakan Fairtrade pihak ownership serta GVC menjadikan produksi barang didasari oleh nilai standar yang dapat diterima oleh semua pihak.
To be the anchor of the tea value chain, especially stage where involvement of high capital costs lowers the likelihood of competitors joining the chain. It is at this point in the chain that key processing decisions are made, such as what processing methods to use. There are currently 3 different organizational relationships between tea growers and factories in Tanzania. These relationships are 1. Full ownership of growing and processing by a single and private company. 2. Full ownership of processing by a single investor company and contracted growing by smallholders. And 3. Shared ownership between a single investor company and smallholder cooperatives of processing and contracted smallholder production. All research participants provided informed consent prior to their participation in the study. Content analysis of the Fairtrade labeling organizations or full standards, and a review of secondary data such as newspapers and websites of the relevant organizations have also contributed to the data used in this article. We use descriptive analysis to identify trends in factory ownership and scan out.
Nama saya Muhammad Gandara dengan MPN akhir 050. Di sini saya akan menjelaskan tentang pengaturan dari teh Tanzania. Ada perbedaan struktural tertentu yang terkait dengan cara produksi teh yang membedakan dari komunitas Fairtrade dan nilai lainnya. Teh hitam, hijau ataupun putih berasal dari semak hijau atau nama lainnya Camellia sinensis yang tumbuh subur di ketinggian cukup tinggi antara 1.400 sampai 2.500 meter di daerah lembab seperti daerah tropis dan subtropis. Afrika Timur adalah tempat produksi utama teh di Afrika, yang diantara ada Kenya, Malawi, Uganda, dan Tanzania sendiri merupakan produsen dan eksportir teh terbesar di daerah situ. Di Tanzania ada dua metode produksi teh yang ditemukan, yaitu CTC atau cut kernel atau teh kantong teh, dan teh ortodoks atau teh daun utuh. Semua pabrik pengolahan teh di Tanzania menghasilkan teh CTC. Namun, dua dari pabrik yang bersertifikat Fairtrade dan organik juga memproduksi teh ortodoks. Jadwal pemantikan teh di Tanzania itu antara setiap 7 sampai 20 hari tergantung musim, dan teh daun hijau yang baru dipetik harus mencapai pabrik pengolahan dalam waktu kurang dari 12 jam sehingga tidak menurunkan kualitas teh itu tersendiri.
BBTC is an interesting case because it allows the right of small returns and participation to control Fairtrade premiums, despite the fact that Fairtrade is not certified small farmers, where smallholders are indeed certified MTC and VATCO. The control rights held by farmers are the same, but VATCO provides rights of return that are greater than the permitted MTC. In this case, there are two types of ownership arrangement for the processing plants itself, which provide the same level of control rights. This result shows that there is no setting pattern ownership that requires involvement in Fairtrade. Factory management and small farmers facilitate or hide their involvement. Manufacture on the Fairtrade network. We found a movement towards innovation to connect farmers with tea factories in Tanzania, which include new factory ownership arrangement and counter peasant. Here we suggest organizational innovation such as selling ownership shares in factory to smallholder associations. You have noted that relationship between change actors and stakeholders to create a more sustainable fair trade, and change of actor makes their market reach. There are two proposals to empower Fairtrade certified financial smallholder financially. First, concerning the downstream stage of the change in processing and marketing. Second, encourage Fairtrade to set price.
So, what's the conclusion? The analysis of Fairtrade tea in Kenya revealed two fundamental problematics of Fairtrade tea: the issue of relational governance and the effect of the auction system on the value of Fairtrade. The case studies above show that most of trade relationship in Tanzanian tea industry predate the Fairtrade system. Okay, now let's put differently. While these are forms of relational governance that coordinate interaction among value chain actors, these are due more of the nature pre-existing trading relationship in the Tanzanian tea industry than they are due to the value claims that Fairtrade makes its advocacy campaign. The reliance of auction system in the case of Tanzanian tea is not as straightforward as the case of Kenyan tea. While there is a high reliance on auction for Fairtrade sales as well as non-Fairtrade sales of Kenyan tea, a good portion of Tanzanian tea does not make it to auction. This has been claimed by participants in the study to be a result of the high cost of transporting the tea to Kenya, the perceived discrimination against Tanzanian tea, the quality of the Kenyan auction, and thus their distrust of their ability to get fair price for their tea at the auction, and disappearance of the identity of Tanzanian tea once the tea has been bought at the auction. Therefore, as the case studies in this video show, many of the market governance relationship in the Tanzanian tea industry also predicated on the notion of direct sales and long-term relationship that predate the fair trade system. So, it can be called the benefit claimed by Fairtrade as it is currently enacted. Direct contract, empowerment, and higher prices may also be obtained from exacting business relationship between the producer and buyers in the Tanzanian tea industry.